Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 13th of August 2021, and today sees the start of the Premier League football season. The Olympics have just finished, and I'll go and have a quick recap of that in a moment. But as far as the Premier League's concerned, I'm going to do a separate podcast about the Premier League, doing like a preview thing, so keep your eyes out for that. So I won't be talking that much about the Premier League in this week's podcast. We're going to look at other stuff. Like I say, we'll start with a quick look back at the Olympics. Great performance by Team GB, achieving 22 gold medals. I think they got 65 medals altogether, which equalled their performance in London in 2012. So they've done really well as a team. Medals in some of the sports you wouldn't perhaps have expected to get medals in as well. Obviously, I'm thinking about things like skateboarding. We've done well in some of the sports we've traditionally been good at, or come back to being good at, such as the equestrian and modern pentathlon and things like that. I think the guy that won the gold medal in the modern pentathlon is the first winner of that for Team GB for a long time. So well done to all the people involved. Let's look forward to the next one in 2024 in Paris. Okay, so we are going to talk briefly about football, and we're going to talk about the non-Premier League stuff. I say the games in the Premier League kicks off this weekend. The first game's tonight, Brentford against Arsenal, and the big games of the weekend are Manchester United against Leeds tomorrow at Old Trafford, and then on Sunday afternoon we've got Tottenham against Manchester City. So they're the games probably to keep your eyes on this weekend, but we'll talk about it on a separate podcast. With regards to the other areas of football, Halifax Town had a friendly behind closed doors to arrange today against Sheffield United 11, but that's been called off. Town's last friendly last Saturday was called off the previous day against Fylde due to a positive COVID case in the town camp. So that didn't help cause. There's been a bit of a disjointed start to the season with regards to the friendlies that Town are playing. We're due to make 4 new signings according to manager Pete Wild. We have 4 signings in the pipeline, and they're going to be announced hopefully, probably today or tomorrow, I would think. So keep your eyes peeled on the FC Halifax Town website and the Twitter feed, because that's where you tend to find most of the latest news about what's going on with the Shamen. And the big game, obviously the first game of the season, a week tomorrow. They play Maidenhead at the Shea. We're all looking forward to that. The season tickets in order, so can't wait to get going after the Shea again, getting behind the team and hopefully have a good season. So come on, you Shamen. One other thing I just want to mention is there was a good turnout for the James Dean Memorial game last Sunday over at Victory Park in Chorley. I think almost 1,000 fans attended. Lots of money was raised for Dino's family, and his sons were presented with shirts on the pitch. So good to see people getting behind Dino's family. Shame that some of the people like Lee Gregory, who was advertised to play, couldn't play, although he did turn up on the day, I believe, so that's good that he was there. Others such as Lewis Maynard, Michael Wilde, Liam Hogan were all not able to play, possibly because of the contracts with the professional teams. But good to see some of the old faces like Tom Baker and Scott Field and Aaron Hardy, players like that, Danny Lowe, and Neil Aspin managing the team, going back to that era when Dino was at his peak for Town. So it was a good day all round. So yeah, good day for everybody there, I think, concerned. Okay, so we'll turn our attention now to cricket and have a quick look back at last weekend's results. And first of all, I'm going to start with the obvious game between Sawby Bridge and Bradshaw, and the victors were Sawby Bridge. They won by 8 wickets. It was a weather-affected weekend last week in the league, and there were reduced overs games. Now it didn't save Bradshaw. Bradshaw were really disappointed with this game. They took no points from this game, and Sawby Bridge took 12, the maximum 12 they possibly could. Bradshaw were all out for 95 runs in 25 overs, and only 3 players reached double figures. It was a disappointing performance all round. In terms of the batting, we had just 3 players, like I say, reaching double figures. Piers Fisher scored 36 not out, Simon Collins got 31, and Charlie Holt-Conway scored 11. They were the only 3 players to reach double figures, and the damage for Sawby Bridge were done by all of it by 3 bowlers. Sam Mellor got 3 for 44, Jake Dixon took 3 for 6, and Tom Belfield, who also played his part with a bat, took 4 for 42. So a good performance for the ball, not a good performance for the bat by Bradshaw, and we're looking to bounce back this weekend, and we'll come on to that in a moment. In terms of Sawbury Bridge and how they knocked off the runs, they won with eight wickets to spare. Tom Belfield again 36 not out, and Scott Griffith 26 not out. These are easily achieved their revised target of 80. So yeah, Sawbury Bridge will be happy with that. Good result for them there. In terms of the other games last weekend, there was some destruction. Blackley against Sawbury Bridge. Sawbury Bridge Church Institute. SBCI took 6 points and Blackley took 4 points. The game was abandoned. It wasn't completed. So that's how that one worked out. Illingworth came out on top against Booth. Booth scored 184 for 3 in their 25 overs, reduced 25 overs, and Illingworth scored 185 for 6 to get the victory. I've already talked about the Sawbury Bridge and Bradshaw game. Thornton against Shelf and North Round Hedgetop just didn't play, so there was no game at all there, so it was 3 points each. It was cancelled. Myvenroyd beat Triangle, so Myvenroyd got 12 points to Triangle's 2. Triangle were 156 all out. Myvenroyd knocked off that total, got 162 for 3 in 25.5 overs. And Copley came out on top away to Whalley. Whalley got 147 for 6 in 33 overs, and Copley knocked that off 152 just to the loss of 1 wicket there. So a good performance by Copley. In terms of this weekend, the games this weekend hopefully won't be disrupted by the weather so much. The forecast did look a bit better earlier in the week, but I'm not sure now whether how it's going to be, because it said it was going to be mixed and unsettled over the weekend, so anything could happen really, but fingers crossed we get full games in this time. The fixtures are as follows: Blackley are at home to Thornton, Copley at home to Booth, Illingworth St Mary's are at home to Sawbury Bridge, Myvenroyd are playing Whalley, Shelford North Arm Hedgetop are at home to Triangle, and SBCI entertain Bradshaw. So they're this weekend's fixtures to look forward to in the Halifax Cricket League. Staying with cricket, but looking at international cricket, England are struggling somewhat towards the start of this series in the tests against India. The first test came to a halt on Sunday. Well, day 5 was Sunday, but there was no play possible, and India will feel that they were somewhat cheated by the weather, shall we say. I'm pretty sure they would have won the game if the game had been able to play out to its full potential on the Sunday. They had England in a situation where they were more certainly going to lose, but like I say, the last day was ruled out. They needed 150 odd runs on the last day, but they couldn't play at all, so it's a shame for them, but relief for England. The second test started yesterday. England have lost Stuart Broad for the rest of the series due to injury, which is a big blow, having only consider the fact that we're already missing Ben Stokes and Jofra Archer from the bowling attack, so it's difficult for them. They won the toss in England because the conditions were overcast. You'd say that it was probably the right decision to bowl, but unfortunately, or fortunately for India, their openers got through a really torrid time or a tough time in the first hour or two and saw off a new ball. And KL Rahul's gone on to make 125. Not out. He was still in this morning. I haven't looked to see. It's just started actually, but I haven't looked at the score yet this morning. Yeah, he scored 125, and Rohit Sharma scored 83 as well. For England, they've made a few changes to the team. Obviously, Broad's out, Wood's in, and so is Moeen Ali. The players out are Dan Lawrence, who was dropped. Zach Crawley's been replaced by Hasib Ahmed as well. So we've got Wood and those two in. So we've got one enforced change, but 2 changes probably caused by a fragile batting lineup. I'll be interested to see how England get on when they bat, because I think Hamid and Sibley near the top of order. They're both very, what shall we say, without being rude, classical style batsmen. So the scoring rate won't be as high perhaps while they're in. Hopefully they can stay in though. That's important. That's why they're in the team, to stay in. So let's hope they can fight back and they can dismiss India today to put us in a decent position of getting back into the match. So yeah. Elsewhere, last night, Northern Superchargers became the first team to score 200 runs in the 100. John Simpson hit 71 off 28 balls against Manchester Originals to see them home. They won by 69 runs. Good performance also by, what I noticed, I saw a bit of it, by Adil Rashid. He took 2 wickets and did a great run out as well. So good performance by him. considering also that they had two players, Adam Live and Harry Brook, both tested positive for COVID, so they were unable to play. Um, and some of the bigger players like Jerry Lynn um, hasn't performed so far. He only scored, I think, 15 last night. He's not. Sorry, Chris Lynn. He hasn't scored as many runs as I expected him to do, but it's still time yet, and they're still in with a shout. I think Manchester's chance is probably gone now, and London Spirit have only won one game as well, so they're probably going to be out. I can't see past Trent Rockets still. Trent Rockets or maybe Southern Brave, but you know it's only the finals a week tomorrow, I think, at Headingley, so it's not long to wait. In the women's tournament, Southern Brave are doing really well, and the Northern Superchargers perform well, so they could both also progress in the ladies' tournament as well. So keep your eyes on those games if you're interested in it. Right, moving away from cricket now, talk about Speedway, and this weekend, tomorrow, Amila in Sweden sees the next round of the Speedway GP. Pontus Aspgren is the wild card, and Martin Vasilich got injured last weekend, and he's fractured his collarbone in 4 places, what I read, so he's going to be out possibly for the rest of the series. I've not seen confirmation yet, but the official first reserve is Alexander Loktayev from the Ukraine. So I'm not sure if I need to check see if he's riding, but that's who I would assume will be the reserve to come in for the next few rounds for Vasilich. So speedy recovery to Martin, of course. It was a not very nice incident. He looks to be in a lot of pain afterwards. So moving on to the British Speedway now from that, and we're looking at the league table. I'm looking at the league table when I talk to you, and it's looking like Wolverhampton are probably going to finish top of the league. Them and Peterborough are pulling away. Bellevue a little bit behind. Sheffield in 4th. It looks like Kings Lynn season's more or less over. They've only got 8 points. Ipswich are 5th. They've got 18. Sheffield are 4 points in front of Ipswich, but they've still got 3 matches in hand, and 2 of them are at home. So Bellevue have still got a chance of probably getting top or second. They've only got a couple more away matches to go. I think they've got 2 away matches, and they've got 4 home matches, so we'll see how they go, but they've still got to ride Wolverhampton at home. They've got 2 against Kings Lynn at home, which should beat those, they should win those 2, but Wolverhampton have got the all-round strength. I think they may all finish top. They won last night at Sheffield, and Peterborough also both won by 2 points. Peterborough won at Kings Lynn by 2 points, 46-44. Obviously Peterborough won at Bellevue on Monday, 47-43 as well. So Bellevue's form recently, especially at home, has not been that great, so maybe those 4 home matches might not be such an advantage after all. Like I said, he should beat Kings Lynn, but one of the other 2 home matches is against Wolves, and the other one's against Sheffield. Now Sheffield are okay, they're an average team, but it's a big tracky Bellevue, so it'll suit the Sheffield riders as much as it will the Bellevue riders. And that's one of the problems Bellevue have got. The track's very fair compared to some of the other teams who've got, like Ipswich and Wolves, have got really tight technical tracks. They're more difficult to ride, so I'm also expecting there might be a couple more changes in lineup, especially at Sheffield after last night's performance from Troy Batchelor, who failed to score in 3 rides. The rumour is that it may have been his last match, and that may have had some effect on his performance last night, but nothing confirmed yet. But it wouldn't surprise me if he did leave. The rumours are that maybe Chris Holder will come in to replace him, but that depends on the Polish league when it finishes, when his season finishes there, so not sure that's going to be the case. It might just be the British Speedway form is a great haven for lots of rumours, but keep your eyes posted, see what happens with Sheffield next. I think they are probably going to make a change, especially if they do make the playoffs. I'll be interested to see what they bring in. Okay, moving on to stock cars now. There's no action in the UK this weekend in terms of Formula 1. It's the World Cup weekend in Venray in the Netherlands. As far as I'm aware, the British drivers aren't allowed to travel. There's still no confirmation as to whether the Dutch drivers will be able to travel to the UK next month for the World Final. Odds still on the 11th of September. They haven't confirmed, the promotion haven't confirmed yet whether Friday night's meeting will go ahead in its current guise of being an all-foreign driver meeting, but that might not be able to happen. So they've said they've got 3 or 4 different options they're looking at for that meeting at the moment, but haven't confirmed anything. And I think they'll just leave it to as close as possible as they can without risking the loss of sales of tickets. So look at the BSCDA site if you're interested in that to find out exactly what the latest update is on, and also Star Tracks Racing as well. They're probably the one you should watch rather than the BSCDA, because it's their promotion to tell you on their Facebook exactly what is going to happen with that meeting on the 10th of September, the Friday, the night before the World Championship final. The second semi-final took place of the World Championship last Saturday, and world champion Tom Harris was a comfortable winner. I managed to watch the race actually online, and he won easily really. There weren't much action in the race. He was a comfortable victor, and all the top names such as Ryan Harrison and Nigel Green and Lee Fairhurst all came through unscathed. They were the top four actually. Nigel Green's only raced 4 meetings this season. He won the final at Odsal at the first meeting they held. He also won the final on Saturday night, but was docked 2 points from going from the wrong starting position. He went from the red grade instead of going from superstar, so he got 2 points docked. So that meant that Sean Webster at benefit from that and took over the position of final winner. But yeah, so Tom Harris has won the coin toss for the final at Odsal, and he's chosen the inside pole, so Craig Finnicking will be on the outside pole at the big meeting. Normally that would be an advantage, but at Odsal, because of the track and the fact that it's new and there's been a lot of action so far, and some people are saying it's a little bit narrower than what they'd expect, there could be carnage in the world final. So if you aren't near the front and you're near the back, it might actually be a blessing in disguise. Maybe that was in Frankie Wayman's thoughts when he pulled off in his semi-final at Kings Lynn. Not sure that was the case, but I'd like to think he will qualify still from the consolation final at Sheffield at the end of the month, and he'll be in with a shout if he can fight his way through the first few laps at Odsal without a doubt. Yep, so that's what's happening in the world of stock cars. In Rugby League this weekend, Halifax were due to play Toulouse away, but that game's been called off because of COVID. The rules are that teams don't have to travel if they're not full time, so I believe that Toulouse's game this weekend is Halifax, and the following home game against Batley is also off. Halifax are on a good run at the moment. It would have been a tough game against Toulouse. Toulouse haven't lost a game this season in the league. I think you've got to say that Halifax may well not have won that game, but they are on a run, I think, of 9 successive league victories after overcoming Newcastle 14-12 at the Shea on Sunday. They looked to be in control of the game at half time when they were 12 points up, I think they were 12 points up at one point, but second half Newcastle put up a good performance. Halifax wasted quite a few chances and in the end up hanging on just to win by 14-12, but a victory is a victory, as I say, and they're still doing well. They're third in the league, and it bodes well. So the next game now, I think, is away to Widnes a week on Sunday. But that'll be a tough match, but they'll be confident of winning because of the run that they're on at the moment. So yeah, they're doing well with the Panthers. I think that's just about it really for this week. I can't think of anything else that I want to add. I hope I haven't missed anything of any importance really. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, so I'll leave that there. And like I say, I'm going to do a separate Premier League preview podcast, so I'll be releasing that later on today, so keep your eyes open for that. And otherwise, I will be back next week with more updates. So until then, it's goodbye from me.